Hello, good afternoon. French people tend to be late, so let's start on time. Thank you. So I would like to welcome you all to this session, which is hosted by IMCAS. Obviously, we are IMCAS, but this is done in collaboration with the Magic Wand Initiative and something which is coming from Mass General Hospital in Boston, together with the venture I created last year, which is a Skin and Digital Summit. And you will hear about the Magic Wand and Skin and Digital Summit, but only at the end. So I would like to kick off now, and I would like to invite our first speaker, Kirill, from SkinHive. SkinHive is a skin screening solution and skin health monitoring. And I would like to remind to all our speakers that you have 10 minutes. So let's try to have your presentation within 6 to 7 minutes. And then we will have questions from the audience. Thank you very much. Kirill? I'll tell you the time. Oh, yeah.
So, my name is Kirill. I'm a CEO of SkinHive, a company based in Amsterdam. We deep tech company and we develop AI solutions which can detect skin diseases by visual signs. We we started our project several years ago when we found a big problem that medical professionals and people, consumers, they don't have access to a simple tool which can detect skin diseases. Several years ago, there were several solutions which can detect skin cancer, but skin cancer is not very common skin disease. And we decided to make a solution which can detect not only skin cancer, but many more diseases. So right now we already published our mobile application for medical specialists, SkinHive MD app, which can detect several types of skin cancer, human papillomavirus, herpes. Also, we can detect papuloskomosis disorders, fungal diseases, different types of acne. So right now we have accuracy more than 90%. We already published our accuracy report. You can find in our website in a blog section. Also, this year we plan to repeat our test with the biggest validation data set, which consists of 25,000 images. And we also open to validate on our data set and other solutions. We can make this test. Here in this slide, you can see what results we provide only on one image. How it use? You just need to make a photo of a skin spot, mole, or some strange object on the skin and send it to our application. Our algorithm analyze visual signs and provide risk assessment, low, medium, or high, type and class of disease. Also, it provides medical information, so it's medical article where you can find information how it can be diagnosed, how it can be treated. Also, you will find another examples of this disease, another images. So this is about economy. If we compete with existing skin health assessment tools, you can see that our solution very simple. It is a universal device which can be used by medical professionals, but also at home by consumers. Of course, we cannot compete with professional dermatoscopes like Photo Finder, but professional dermatoscopes can be used only by medical professionals, by dermatologists. And we, first of all, focus on GPs, on primary care, who have a lot of patients, but don't know a lot of about skin diseases like dermatologists. And we hope that our solution will help to find skin diseases at the earliest stages and help GP to route patient to the right specialist, to dermatologist, oncologist, allergist, else. So here we you can see several our competitors. Skin Vision, this also a Dutch company. They develop a mobile application for patients. This really good and simple solution, but this solution is focusing only on skin cancer, and we provide multi-diagnostics. Photo Finder is a very expensive tool, and this tool is for medical professionals, for dermatologists. So in 2020, we published our neural network in a cloud, and this neural network can be used not only by our apps, but we provide our technology to third-party developers. We have several integration with telemedicine services, with EHR systems, and another digital health solutions. Last year, we published a SkinKnife MD app, mobile application for medical professionals, and this year we publish a mobile application for patients, for home use. So we are 3 co-founders, and the whole our team consists of 15 people, medical professionals, dermatologists, oncologists, IT engineers and data scientists, and business department. Also, we have a support from our advisory board, experts from data science and medicine. So, thank you very much. We'll be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Karim. Are there questions? Yes.
Do you have patients complete like maybe a waiver or a consent, or you know, what if there's some liability in the accuracy or something happens to the patient, they agree to something upfront in order to use the app?
Can you ask a question in another way?
Is there an agreement by the patient before they use the app?
Yes, of course, we have terms and conditions. Yeah.
And in terms of accuracy, are you planning as you go forward to improve the accuracy rate on the base of 90% that you have?
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course. So we have a lot of challenges. So right now, this summer, we will enlarge our dataset plus 50,000 images. And our next step will be, we will focus on skin 4 and 5 types on Fitzpatrick scale. So right now, our solution works good only on from first till 4 class. So it's only for white people.
Okay. And those 15,000 extra data set that you are getting, from where do you get them?
So right now, it's only 50-50, so 50% from white people and 50% from people with colored skin. But this summer, we start a cooperation with Indian hospitals, so they will provide us a lot of medical data of colored skin.
If I understand well, you are planning to have a consumer version of your app. And are you going to use those data?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And we plan to adapt our algorithm to colored skin in the start of next year.
Okay. Yes.
John Sievert from Denmark. I have a question regarding medical class approvals for a tool like yours. You would need the medical class 2A certification. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? And then another question regarding the 90% accuracy that you mentioned. What is your R-scores in, on average across all the different indications that you refer to?
So right now we first class, yeah, we got CE mark first class MDD regulation, and right now we are working to apply second A class on MDR regulation. What about the accuracy? I suggest you to, I can give you a link to our accuracy report, and you can find all details about our methodics and our results. Yeah.
Hi, Victor from Germany. Do you have any research collaborations with all this data you're gathering?
Yeah, yeah. So we have a collaboration with medical institutions and hospitals.
Thank you.
Hi, Alisa from Germany. Do you have direct cooperations with other, like with clinics or something, so that you get easier an appointment? Because, for example, in Germany, it's really difficult to get an appointment, even if you already have a suspicion.
Several months ago, we participated at MEA in Berlin. So we found several connections. We know about this problem, and I hope soon we will solve it.
Thank you, Kirill. Thank you very much. Big round of applause for Kirill. Thank you. I would like to call John, our next speaker, from MySkin, which is a teledermatology platform and skin tracking app. Thank you, John, for traveling to us.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yep. I'm John Fries. I'm the CEO and founder of MySkin. We enable dermatologists to treat patients anywhere, anytime. And of course, we enable patients to access care, skin care, by dermatologists anywhere, anytime. The problem really is 2 billion people suffer from skin and dermatology issues every year. Majority of these are related chronic skin conditions. You know all about this. You're in this industry. More than 5 million people seek medical treatment for acne, for example, in the US. 1 in 5 will develop skin cancer over time. But what we're really seeing is a shortage of doctors, and we see a rising population of elderly, a growing rising population of elderly people as well. So we have a clash between that. We have a problem because we need to deliver efficient dermatology care, and that's what we are here for. Our solution is a direct-to-patient dermatology solution that is enabling the existing decentralized healthcare industry. So we expand and improve access to care for patients, and on the other side, we enable providers to deliver faster and more efficient delivery, especially for simple conditions such as rashes, mild to moderate acne, and so forth, where you can do that very efficiently on an asynchronous store and forward teledermatology platform. We have a smartphone technology, which have world-leading skin imaging technology, and we have a provider platform on the back end. We're HIPAA compliant. We're classified, FDA classified. So yeah. Yes, we are FDA classified. And in the US, we are reimbursed so that the providers can work on our platform and get payment for that. And that has been doing with the largest health insurance in the US as well. We have world-leading and unique skin imaging capabilities that combines machine learning, computer vision, augmented reality into smart features that cover everything about active skin and personal skin management and monitoring. Everything from full body photography, you place the app on the table, you stand in front of it, it will guide you through a process and taking the images for you. We can take close-ups and measure elements on your skin, and you can provide this to your doctor. Full facial tracking as well. And all of this is combined with clinical questionnaires for different diseases so that you can enable the doctor to see this type of information faster. We don't do any diagnostic AI, we don't do any assessment, we don't do any clinical outcomes based into the patients. It's merely a platform to provide information between forth and back between the patients and the providers, which is the reason why we're FDA classified. In the competitive landscape, we see our first vertical being direct-to-consumer skin management, personal, or a direct-to-consumer AI detection claim. Or we see that we are on this active skin management part of it, and we also see, and we're combining that with teledermatology, and we believe that teledermatology and technology here is enabling the industry and not providing a centralized platform instead. That's what we are creating. We have active customers in the US, and many of our efficiency gains have been published in some of these public dermatology publications. I wouldn't call it real-world evidence, but I would call it real-world data and real-world insights where we can see indications of efficiency, 20% increase in provider capacity. We can see that care delivery for different types of skin concerns going from months in delay because there are long waiting lines for dermatology care in the US to literally days. We are currently raising money for growth in the US. We have solved the reimbursement issue. We FDA classified, we HIPAA compliant. We are raising $3 million now to increase growth in the US and to market the product across the US, primarily within the dermatology clinics, but also in the US health systems. We have 2 pilots ongoing for enterprise customers currently in the US, and by 2025, we expect to have an annual recurring revenue of $13 million. This year, we will be around $500,000, and we're focused on growth. We sell this to clinics so they can increase efficiency within the clinics and get the same reimbursement and payment for a digital asynchronous teledermatology visit as a physical consultation. And that's the new thing in this context. And of course, enterprise solution starts at $100,000 plus a customization service on top of this. We have a team. We're located and based in Copenhagen, Denmark. I'm the CEO and founder. We have some tech team, a strong tech team with us locally in Copenhagen. We have a board of directors, including a US dermatologist and some key opinion leaders that is board elect of the American Association of Dermatology. We selected to start in the US because there was a strong and urgent demand to solve some of these efficiency problems. And that's where I will end. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Yeah. Are there questions? I have a question if there is no question. Yeah, you have a question, Margrethe.
I would love to ask you, John, you're focusing on the patient journey, right? And if we compare with the prior talk, it was diagnosis. So I think if we need to do something better for our patients, we need to focus on a more efficient patient journey, which also comes to the fact that if we have a diagnosis and the patient are kind of stuck with this diagnosis at home because they cannot attend or get access to a dermatologist, where are we lost then?
Yes.
So I think that your talk and the prior talk goes very nicely hand in hand. So can you tell us, where do you see the benefit, or the greatest benefits of changing the patient journey with your digital solution, in a nutshell?
I think what we analyzed ourselves when we dig into all the research and science about this, we saw that access to information was the first hurdle that we could come upon within the digital. So we're basically digitalizing the process. I think we have between 1 and 1.5 million images currently in our database that we can use for a lot of things. But at the end of the day, the complexity with AI diagnostics is, of course, how do you handle false positives? How do you handle false negatives? And do we ever get a legislation? Do we have ethical rules for handling these? Can you communicate that to consumer directly without taking the responsibility away? I think our journey, we realized we needed to be the two responsible parties in this is the dermatology and the patient. And that's where we're starting. What we can build on top of this is a lot more stronger in the future, but we need to enable the process in the beginning.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And to make it a little more concrete, you and I are neighbors, almost neighbors
Almost
back home in
neighbors, yes.
Copenhagen. And we have the greatest derm department in Denmark. It's right next to your door. So how can you help us?
Collaborate. We've opened this platform, so we want to collaborate. We open this platform so researchers can get access to this technology and this platform for research. We are open for that. Thank you, Marete.
I just have a question. Did you know each other before coming here?
When I saw that she was the moderator here, I contacted her. So I wouldn't say before, but I did contact her, yeah.
Yes.
So thanks to Incas.
Yes, thank you very much, Dominique.
Thanks for a nice presentation.
Thank you,
Jon. A question regarding the different mobile phones. I mean, if I was a patient and I had a 5-year-old Huawei, can I use the 360 imaging technology, for instance? And, are there any, how can you say, restrictions in your platform that would, not let everybody have access to your
Yes,
to your app?
there is some restrictions. Especially 5 years ago when we kind of started, there was stronger restriction. I would say that what you see here, the full capability and feature set we have on imaging capabilities, is primarily on the iPhone. I would say we cover 75 to 80% on the Androids, and some of the older Androids, we do not support them at all. So it has to, but I believe time is with us on this page, and there's some amazing technologies and libraries available that by Apple to actually support some of these processes. So it's moving quite fast forward.
In the last 3 minutes that we have, I have read that you recently has proposed your platform to dermatologic research institution. Can you tell us a few words why you have done this? I guess why, but I would like to have your point of view.
Yes. We are, by DNA and nature, we are technologists. So that's what our primary, we bring in the experts of dermatologists on the side. But what we also realized is that we cannot facilitate and cope with all the research you can do on these patient-provider platforms in telehealth and teledermatology. So we decided strategically to open the platform so anybody that on an academic research level want to use our platform for research, it's open and free. We make it available so you can have work with 10,000 subjects, 1,000 subjects, 100 subjects if you want to do research on top of our platform, because that's basically what we can support the industry with. There's so many brilliant minds out in all the universities that can use our technology to do this research, and we want to enable them as well. That's how we open our platform to them.
Thank you. No more question? No? Okay, fine. Thank you so much,
Thank you very
Jon.
much.
So we are going to change a little bit the flavor because we are not, we remain within skin and digital, but we are not going to talk about disease particularly. But I would like to invite Claudio from Revive, which is a very interesting company that I noticed over Christmas. And Revive in Finland deliver personalized digital brand experience powered by AI and AR that connects, build loyalty with your customers. And they are working a lot with the cosmetic industry. And in this field, I think this is a cosmetic industry which is leading innovation. So I'll be very interesting to hear more from you.
Thank you, Doctor. Well, my name is Camilo. I'm Director of Partnerships at Revive. As the doctor was saying, we are a beauty tech company based in Helsinki, but also with offices in Valencia and in Chicago. We're basically working on personalization for beauty brands and skincare brands as well. So what's the problem that we are addressing? Basically, when COVID hit, many companies realized that what the skincare, the online shopper experience for beauty products was not as personalized as the in-store experience was, right? When you go into a store, you find with a beauty advisor who helps you understand about your skin. It asks you questions about your skin treatments, routines. And afterwards, after understanding you as an individual, that person is making highly personalized recommendations about skincare products. That person could be a dermatologist, but usually the beauty consultant is like the first door into skincare products when you go into a store. And so the problem here is how we can take that experience into the online, to the e-commerce, for example. And the pain point here for consumers is how can they buy confidently beauty products when they go in online. They might find themselves discovering that there is 300 different products to buy online from one retailer, or maybe 50 different products from a beauty brand. So how can we help them to buy more confidently? And in regards of what the company's pain point is, the idea is how can they replicate that intimate and personal relationship that a beauty advisor has in stores when consumers go online, right? So the solution that we propose is a platform that we built 6 years ago and we are continuing developing nowadays, that leverages on AI and AR to provide, first of all, to understand the user as an individual, to understand them. So we do a questionnaire when we ask them age, gender, location, skin type. Afterwards, we ask them to take a selfie, and we analyze that selfie using computer vision algorithms that we developed 6 years ago and we're continuously developing, that can track over 30 different skin conditions. We provide the results as you can see on the slide. We provide the results so the user gets educated. This is not dermatologically level. This is not clinical level. This is our suggestion based on our computer vision algorithms. And afterwards, now that we have the information about the user, now that we know them better, now that we have analyzed their faces, we can do highly personalized recommendations. And on top of that, we recently launched the Skin Coach, which is basically a platform that enables long-term relationships with the users and enables, for example, dermatologists to connect with their consumers, with the users, with the patients across time, and enable them to take selfies from the cell phone, from a tablet, with a camera on a smart mirror. We are device agnostic and we work across different channels. So the Skin Coach, what enables is that long-term relationship where you can get educational content as a patient, you can get video consultations with a dermatologist, you can take the picture and see how your skin is evolving across time, and see what the impact of those products that you've been using has had on your face. So why our solutions disruptive? Basically, there's a lot of data that we gather from the user. Nowadays, we have a database of almost 30,000 images, and that's growing. And what we do is we analyze your skin, your face, with those computer vision algorithms. And now that we know you better, we have a lot of data that the zero-party data and first-party data, that for brands and retailers is key to understanding how to improve that consumer experience. So next time you're going to go into this beauty brand e-commerce, for example, the brand will know exactly what your concerns are, what level of wrinkles you have, or level of firmness in your face, and they will recommend and show you products that are more relevant for you. So this comes as disruptive for brands because now they not only know demographics about their audience, but now they know the skin concerns, the skin analytics that we have provided for them. So on top of that, we've developed, and this is one of the things that differentiates us from our competitors, we have developed a highly personalized product recommendation engine. What we do is we get all that data that was talking before, the input, the skin analysis, and we put it into our recommendation engine that allows us to pick out of maybe 500 or 10,000 products, which are the 3 or 4 that are best for you. Obviously, this is a suggestion. We advise consumers to check on dermatology frequently, and we suggest which are the products that they need. And on top of that, as I was saying before, we recently launched the Coach solution, which is an end-to-end consumer platform, and that is something that we don't find today in the market, at least for mass markets. Some of our competitors today include Modiface, a company that was acquired by L'Oreal a few years ago, Beauty by Holition, Perfect Corp, Pulpo AR. These are all companies providing computer vision diagnostics, and some of them are doing also virtual try-on for makeup. One of the things that make us win in this competition many times is that we have a lead in skin diagnostic. I've repeated this many times already, but the idea is that we've developed these algorithms across time together with dermatologists, and we compared the results of our skin diagnostic with, for example, with the results of Bicia or the results of the eye of a dermatologist. And we have a very high and accurate results, most of them around 95%. We have several case studies and papers that we can share afterwards if anyone is interested. And also we have the lowest total cost of ownership in the market today. So we sell an end-to-end platform, and we sell a turnkey solution. We enable the brands to deploy this on their websites or in social media, and the look and feel of the solution, it looks exactly how the brand likes it. Our digital hypothesis is that e-commerce is being transformed right now. We think that it's going from a transactional-driven model to a relationship-driven one. People don't want to just buy in an e-commerce and then leave and then return again and need to put all the information again. They want to know that the other side, there is a dermatologist or there is a brand that really understands them and provides a personalized experience as they used to have when they went into a store and talked to a beauty advisor, for example. And we believe that that will build more loyal customers. It's actually, we have several case studies that show that. It builds more sustainable businesses, and at the same time increases revenue because brands and retailers using our solution see a conversion rates increase from 2 to 3 times, and increase in average order value of around 50 to 70%. This means brands are selling more thanks to this personalized experience that they're now providing on the online channel. We've raised strategic funding already from family offices in Europe. We are in a growth stage. We are aiming this year to end up with around $10 million in ARR. We don't have any near future fundraising rounds, but if anybody's interested, let me know. When it comes to time, we'll connect with you. Milestones coming next. The Skin Coach, as I was saying, this platform that will enable brands and also dermatologists to connect with their audiences across time. We have a global expansion right now. We're working on 5 continents with 120 beauty brands and retailers, very, very big names such as Shiseido and many Unilever brands, for example. And the next big thing for us is we're integrating into social media. So we want to take these. Nowadays we have around 10 million selfie analysis done already. And we're aiming to take this into social media. We have conversation with them, and very shortly we will integrate it into the big names in social media. And we are aiming also to launching the coach for other verticals such as makeup, nutrition, hair care, and many other beauty adjacent verticals. We are around 80 people right now from 27 nationalities working across 20 different countries. We recently gathered in Helsinki, and it was just crazy. And these are the founders of the company, Sampo Parkkinen, our CEO and founder, born in Finland, Gavin from England, and Samuli from Finland as well. We've been growing a lot. Since I joined the company almost 1.5 years ago, we were 15, now we're 80, and we are growing a lot at this time because companies are realizing that this kind of solution, personalizing the experience for users, is key, and the results show that it is. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Camille.
Hello, thank you for your speech. Tell me, what is the success percentage of the diagnostic that your application offers?
Okay, so many of the big brands we're working with before implementing our solutions wanted to check how it compared to dermatologist eye, and also to other solutions more that require more highly tech, like for example Bicia. The results range from 90 to 95% accuracy, and we've been validated by very, very big brands already. And that's one of the key things on our solutions. We work across different channels, and we are device agnostic. You can take a selfie from your cell phone, obviously not a 2002 cell phone, please. But we can get those results because we analyzed many, many images already. Thanks.
Okay, sorry, but we have to move to the next speaker. Thank you very much, Camille. I would like to call upon Sarah Bechstein, which is one of the founder of Formal Skin, which is fascinating. Telemedicine, digital dermatologic hospital for chronic skin condition. Thank you very much to be here, Sarah.
Yes, thank you. And I didn't realize I only had 6 minutes time, so I have to rush through it a bit. So my name is Sarah. I'm a dermatologist and one of the founders of Formal Skin. And what we do is we combine telemedicine with individualized prescription-grade products. So we're no competitors in a way. So over 1.5 million people suffer from chronic dermatological diseases. And the beauty of dermatology is that most of them can be treated and diagnosed remotely. And I don't know how many dermatologists here are in the room, but when I walk around, I quite often see people with atopic dermatitis or acne, and I think you actually don't have to live like that. And this is something that we can treat. But why are so many people not treated? So this is one of our patients, Jana. She joined Formal Skin in December 2020, and she had been suffering from severe acne for 4 years after stopping oral contraceptives. And she did not find a solution. And why is that? Well, first of all, we have a structural undersupply of dermatologists. In Germany, at least, you have to wait up to 6 months in order to get an appointment. Then if you manage to get an appointment, the doctor on average spends 3 to 5 minutes with you. And afterwards, you have no way of contacting the doctor again. And we do know that one of the main problems in treating chronic dermatological diseases is the lack of therapeutic compliance, meaning patients simply don't use the treatment because they can't talk to their doctor again and have questions. And also, it's an inefficient market because here again, I talk about Germany. Patients with these diseases, the doctor gets reimbursed 12 euros per quarter. It doesn't make a difference if he comes once or 2 times or 3 times to a practice. So usually what you do is you see these patients once and then after 3 months, or you don't even see them again. So after 5 months of treatment with us, this is Jana now, and you can see her skin got a lot better. She even created an Instagram fan account, which she called My Formal Skin Story, where she documented her journey with us. And what is that we did differently? Well, you go to our website, formalskin.de, and fill out a questionnaire about your medical history and if you have any allergies. Afterwards, one of the doctors looks at the picture. You upload pictures, full frontal and both sides. Afterwards, one of the doctors looks at it, and you get a treatment plan and individualized prescription medicine. Thereby, we act completely within the guidelines of dermatology, so all the ingredients we're using in the individualized prescription medicine, such as tretinoin, clindamycin, BPO, are within the guidelines. We're also currently running a validation study with the University Hospital of Hamburg, where we measured DLQI and patient benefit index and showed that this improved after 3 months, but we haven't published the results yet. So our solution is we have the digital companion. The patient receives a treatment plan where he gets also other information about his disease. For example, what kind of foods to avoid in acne, to avoid dairy and food with high glycemic index. We have an excellent medical service. So you have one doctor, we call it high-touch doctor. So we make sure that every patient always has the same doctor. You can ask anytime all the questions you want to ask to your doctor whilst in treatment with us. After 3 weeks, there's a so-called check-in where you upload pictures again and the treatment gets adapted to your current skin status. And we work with individualized prescription-grade medicine. So this has the advantage that we can play around with the ingredients and the concentrations, which leads to less side effects. And also, for example, if we have a patient that has hyperpigmentation and acne at the same time, we can combine tretinoin and salicylic acid to tackle both of the problems at the same time with just one cream. So here are some of the results. This is rosacea, acne, perioral dermatitis. At the moment, we also treat melasma and slow aging, which is not a disease, but it's also one of the conditions that we do. Why is our solution disruptive? Well, with every patient that we treat, we learn more. So far, we had more than 180K patients, and we can use that data. It's a huge amount of data in order to do better medical decisions that lead to a better patient outcome in the end. We do not use AI yet because from a legal perspective, as it's prescription grade, we always need the doctor. And we have very happy patients, which is reflected in our reviews. And they're extremely loyal because they're showing all their results on Instagram and their before and afters on social media. So with our With this approach, we do not only treat acne and rosacea, but we can also treat other chronic dermatological diseases, such as atopic dermatitis, psoriasis, and eczema. And of course, the ingredients of the individualized prescription grade product differ in every single condition. But in the end, it all comes together that we have the excellent medical service, the digital companion, and the individualized products. So who are our competitors? Well, we have telemedical providers such as Crew or Teledoctor, but what they do is they do the telemedical treatment. They do not provide the products. Also other pharmaceutical companies that work with fixed prescription grade medicine, but there you don't have the doctor, you just have the treatment. And in the US, Curology, so they also offer compounded medicine for skin conditions such as acne, but they do not offer the medical service in a way that we do. So from our funding stage, we founded the company in December 2009. Our first investors were Cherry Ventures, an investor from Berlin, and Hardcore from Stockholm. Then we raised there was our pre-seed, our seed series we raised in December 2021 together with Vorwerk Ventures. And then we had a recent funding in December last year from Singular, led by Singular, an investor from Paris actually, and Heal Capital, focusing on health investments in Germany. And with that funding, we want to internationalize the company and also expand to further conditions. We're a diverse team, so my co-founders are Florian, he has a legal background and worked at BCG, myself with a medical background, and Anton, who has been a CMO and CPO at a previous startup called Karubi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any question? Yes. You like to ask question?
A question regarding the other dermatologists in Germany. This is quite interesting that you actually have a product launched in Germany. I would say if you would go anywhere else except for France, it would actually also be possible. Because there's a lot of restrictions among the other dermatologists and in particular also GPs in this space. How have you tackled this? And I mean, a lot of them would say, oh, you're stealing my patients or whatever they say, right?
So I previously worked at the Charité in the University Clinic of Frankfurt. And what I did right from the beginning is I talked to my former professors. I made sure that I'm very close to the German Society of Dermatologists. They have a format called DigiDerma Campus where they work together with startups. And because we're acting within the guidelines, we never had any problems with other dermatologists.
Super cool.
And I hope
Just
it
one
continues that
more
way.
question, if it's okay. Yeah, okay. In the US, there's also this company called HIMSS.
Hims and Hers, yeah.
Yeah, and they have a quite interesting solution where they, give you a total solution, not just one prescription drug, but you add also potential other OTCs, but also natural ingredients in the package of the patient, and also follow them for time. Is this something that you also are looking into, moving into this kind of model of a more altruistic perspective of the patient instead of just, going for prescriptions?
Well, we do, because we're a medical company, also with a medical background, we do want to always stay evidence-based. So we only want to offer products and solutions that are that have scientific evidence. For Hims and Hers, they act more as a platform. We really focus also on that personal relationship with the doctor, even though it's asynchronous and we don't have any phone calls or video calls. So you just you're just in touch with them through messages. But what we saw is that you still manage to have a relationship with your treating doctor, even though you don't have any physical contact or any video contact. And I truly believe that medicine will change in a way to a hybrid model, that for all of these chronic diseases, you don't need that physical interaction anymore. And at some point, I think even an AI could treat these diseases if it's possible from a legal perspective. So we're more focusing on diseases. Yeah.
Sarah, great talk. My question was, how many doctors do you have working in your company? Is it difficult to recruit dermatologists to do this? And if you do want to go to different countries, do you need to recruit dermatologists within that country, or can you, as a German dermatologist, prescribe a medication for someone in France? I mean, legally, is that possible?
We would always try to look for, so first of all, the question with how many doctors we have. So we thought at the beginning it would be a bottleneck, but in the end, we saw it is not, because what is great for the doctors is that they can actually work from home. It's asynchronous, so they're completely flexible when they're doing these treatments. And at the moment, we're 12 doctors so far that work with us. And the other question is, so in every single country, we would try to have dermatologists on the ground, because with this interaction that you have with the patient, you would need someone who, also the culture differences, you would need someone to have the mother tongue as language, and in order to provide that, yeah.
How are you compensated for your time and your prescriptions? I mean, it's a great initiative, but it's, again, you know, your time. You have to sit down, you have to look, you have to diagnose, you have to give advice, and you have to write a prescription. So how do you solve that?
So we do not incentivize per prescription, because first of all, that would be also a conflict from an ethical perspective. So we pay the exact amount that would be paid in a hospital in Germany. So that's how we have the salary of our doctors. And we work a lot with the treatment plans. We work a lot with pre-fills, so that you don't have to do that much on your side when you're treating the patients. And because when you look at the pictures, usually it takes less than 1 minute in order to do the diagnosis afterwards.
So you charge them an official consultation that is reimbursed?
Yes, yes, yes.
And it is reimbursed. They can send it in to their medical insurance?
No, we're working also this. So what we did at the beginning is we did not want to build a product for the insurances. So they pay privately month over month. But what we do now is, because it is medicine that could be reimbursed, we're talking to the private insurances, and the private insurance already cover it. We want to go for public insurances as well now.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
So thank you, everybody, for being here. So we move on to the next session of our program today, which is people from the Virtual Magic 1 program from the US and from Europe that we invited to come and speak about problems and unmet needs that they have identified. Our first speaker is Dr. Christine Dierks, who is a practicing dermatologist in Luxembourg, and she will talk about her unmet need. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Lilith. I was fortunate to be in this program with 15 other colleagues, and it's a journey. They guide you towards different thinking. You know, what is your problem? Define your problem. What could be a solution? They guide us also in terms of patent law, finding solutions, finding financial support. And I am so lucky, and I've enjoyed every step of this journey, which has not finished yet. So I don't have a solution yet, but slowly we will be getting there. So my topic is about sunscreens. And we all know the dangers of UV light, of course. We know it induces sunburn. It induces photo damage. If you look at the picture down there, there are two identical twins. One lived in sunny California and the other one in Madison, Wisconsin, with much less sun. So you see what the sun caused. Then we have the induction of premature skin aging. We have the famous picture of the truck driver, where you can see that on the left side of his face for years he was chronically exposed to UV light. And of course, we have the topic or the problem of skin cancer. So if we dive a little bit deeper into this subject, we know that the skin cancer is the most common cancer worldwide. So it does not only involve the northern hemisphere, but also the southern hemisphere. 20% of all Americans will develop some skin cancer, and more than 2 people die of skin cancer every hour. We also know that the majority of skin cancers are caused by the sun, and these figures for me were really very impressive. If you would use regularly, daily, your sunscreen, your risk of developing melanoma is reduced by 50% and non-melanoma skin cancer by 40%. But despite all our efforts for earlier detection and prevention of skin cancer, the incidence of skin cancer continues to increase to staggering heights over the past decades. And this, of course, in the future will put an enormous economic burden on the healthcare budgets. And it's not that there is no awareness. People are aware I should put on my sunscreen to prevent skin damage and skin cancer. Yet, every single day in my office, I feel like I am Don Quixote fighting against the windmills. I always have to convince my patients to use their sunscreen on a regular basis. And why is this? Well, there really is an enormous hate from the consumers, from the patients, to use a sunscreen daily. And this has many reasons. Here are some of them. Patients think it's too much trouble. You have to put on a sunscreen. They don't like the sunscreen. It's white. I don't like the consistency. I don't like it mixing with my foundation. I don't like the smell. It looks white. I don't like to reapply. And then there are a lot of misconceptions. One of them is, when there is no sun, why should I put on a sunscreen? So definitely there is a lack of adherence. So we think that we should focus on creating acceptance. Like this little girl who hates her Brussels sprouts, I want her to love her Brussels sprouts. So, possible solution we came up with is, well, maybe we should create an ideal sun protection method so that the experience of putting on a sun protection method is wow. And this wow effect calls for more, and so that eventually it becomes a habit. So my goal is that applying a sun protection method should become something natural, something obvious. It becomes second nature. You put it on or you use it without thinking about it, like you brush your teeth every single day. So we had to start somewhere, and we chose as our target group adults, because for children, adults can be a role model. I find that in my office, teenagers and the millennials themselves ask me spontaneously for some kind of sun protection. So in their mindset, there is already a difference. But it is my generation and the older ones that have grown up without any sun protection method and that are paying now the price of sun damage and skin cancer. We decided to focus on this group, mainly try to convince them to use some kind of sun protection method daily and at least in the most sun-exposed area, which is the face. So we focus on, can we change, can we modify behavior? And I'm not a psychologist and I have no knowledge about how we do this. This is just logical thinking. So it all starts in the mind. We should convince people to do this. We all know smoking is bad. I should lose weight. I should go to the gym. I should put on a sunscreen, yet often we don't do it. So we have to give them a trigger that makes them to want to do it. So that trigger, that tool could be, look for that ideal sun protection method. So when I use it, I have a wow effect that calls for more. I will use it every day, so it becomes a habit. Now, we did some thinking, and what could be that ideal sun protection method? Well, first of all, it could be a topical, not only a cream, but it can also be, like in the picture here, some mist that you apply on the skin. You can have in that bottle some IE incorporated that recognizes your skin color even, that then defines the dose, the ideal dose that you need to apply. So the application is also fast and quick. It should also give you a nice feel. So this broom should be like the micro droplets should be very nice and have a great smell or whatever. So whatever incorporate to make it a nice experience. But why not go for something oral, like these gummies that are very popular these days? And the intake is not like a pill, but it's more like a candy. So why not? For both of them, the ingredients should not only protect, but ideally we also want them to hydrate the skin and repair the skin from DNA damage, and consider incorporating the new generation sunscreen filters, like the ones where the algae are being studied now. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to apply it just once? And once a day already would be a great improvement, but what about once a month or once a week? And of course, we have to enter it into the 21st century with all the concerns of the modern consumer. But then maybe, why don't we think outside of the box? Why don't we think about a shower-like device in your bathroom or on the beaches, where not only you can shower on, but it can also give some light or some broom that gives you a full body sun protection. Who knows? Why not? Why can't we fantasize? So definitely mindset is everything. And what I would love to achieve is that there is some kind of sun protection method that makes the application something that is an ultimate experience that you would like to share with your friends and enjoy the ice cream like you would enjoy the Brussels sprout. So I would like to thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Great talk. Any questions?
Me again.
Hello.
I'm just super passionate around this area, so that's why. A question regarding this with the loop of behavior. Normally, we in psychology they use what is called the habit loop, and that means that you have to give an award constantly in order to achieve this. So there should be a color. There should be something that would drive this habit loop to repeat itself.
Sure. Absolutely. And the reward for skin aging or skin cancer is not there immediately. When you brush your teeth, immediately you feel the clean feeling. Yeah. When you start to exercise, after a while, you see the muscles coming. So here the reward comes later on. So I think the reward is more in the education by the doctor, the dermatologist, that stresses, or some IE education program that stresses the consequences and showing the numbers of not applying your sunscreen. And also, I stress a lot when my patients come to see me on skin analysis and the right skincare at home. It's 50% of the treatment. And when they come back to me, I always see the change. If you know what to use for your skin type, there is a change. So the reward, especially with women who have the habit of putting on creams on their face, they come sometimes in and they say, you changed my life. I feel so much better about my skin. So there is a delayed reward, but unfortunately not an immediate.
Just one idea. On Friday, there was a nice lecture on social media and influencers.
Yes.
And I think this is something that you may consider in the Magic Wand program, that you have some influencers in there as well that can actually advocate the habit loop.
Yeah.
And then maybe, I mean, if we go through the exhibition hall, all the models that they show in the pictures are nicely tanned.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be, right? That's a problem. And maybe if we all could encourage the industry to say, if you have a cream or ointment that goes on the market, whatever it is for, it needs to have an SPF of 15.
Absolutely.
So that would be some initiatives that would drive immediate habit change.
All right, let's work together. I want to change it.
Hello, doctor. Thank you for your speech. I'm from Greece, and we have 8 or 9 months summer. So in my clinic, the main problem that they say is that most of them is oily. So what I say is that your canvas is not prepared to accept the sunscreen. And then I have read in an article that it was saying all of us, we choose the way of dying. It's kind of hard, but when you smoke, you choose it. When you don't wear sunscreen, you choose it. So I don't want to scare them, but at the end of the day, I scare them, and they
Yeah.
end up wearing the sunscreen.
Yeah, me too. I'm the donkey shot trying to
Yeah.
convince
I
them.
just want to share with
Yeah,
you.
yeah, it's true. It is a battle that we have every day in
Yeah,
our
yeah,
clinic.
it's kind of
Yeah.
tiring.
Yeah, it is tiring.
It's
And I don't
tiring.
want to.
Okay, let's
yeah.
run from the 0 point. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go. Because they want to treat their skin.
Yeah,
They want good skincare at home at night, but
Yeah.
in the morning,
Yeah.
0. So
Yeah.
there's no point of starting.
yeah. So in the I always say your sunscreen is your best anti-wrinkle cream, and I stress and stress and stress again over and over again.
I would like to have a play button
Yeah.
here and say,
Mhm.
okay, wait, tongue,
Yeah.
say.
So maybe let's make it easy, like whatever, and it doesn't smell, and it is not greasy, or whatever it will be, a pill, whatever. We have to work on this. That's for sure.
Very much.
Yeah. Thanks.
We have time for more questions. One more. I was just going to make a comment that we probably need a sunscreen coach or some sort of an app to.
Mhm.
Thank you, Victor. I live in Germany, but I lived in Australia for 16 years.
Mhm.
And talking about sun exposure, like Australia had put out a huge campaign for sunscreen use, which drastically improved skin cancer detection. And
Great.
you might want to look into that
Yeah.
because they have a lot of experience with that.
Sure.
It's scorching there.
But it is definitely New Zealand and Australia, and yet people know, and yet they don't like to use it. There is something wrong with whatever is on the market. There is so much choice also, in different and gel and for children and I don't know what, and yet it's not accepted worldwide so easily that it is a habit. It's still a burden to put it on.
Definitely.
Yeah. But thank you for the
Great.
suggestion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dierks. Let's just give her. So our next speaker is Dr. Tiago Manos from University of Amsterdam. He's a dermatology resident, and he was one of our European Virtual Magic Wand scholars this year.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you to the organizing committee to have the chance actually to share with you my journey as one of the scholars of this Magic Wand initiative. And really what the program incentivizes, so you understand my presentation, is really to be aware of the challenges that we face daily and that many times ignore due to all the barriers and difficulties that we think or we believe they are impossible to solve. But here is really just think of the problem. In Magic, you have that Magic Wand program that you miraculously can solve, and just from there push the field forward towards innovation. And one of the questions that I get the most from patients, family, friends, and even colleagues is, so what is the best personal care product that I should use on my skin? And this is then my journey through this program in terms of trying to decipher the personal care industry. We use, on average, 10 personal care products daily. That means more than 500 different chemicals that we put in our skin every day. And many of those chemicals are actually dangerous. They can cause skin diseases and even cancer. So how can any of us actually know what is the ideal, the right and safe personal care product for our own unique skin? And the risk is real. There are 270,000 different chemicals that are used into the personal care market. And just to give you an example, Johnson & Johnson a couple of years ago faced more than 25,000 lawsuits to the fact their local or skin talk products were allegedly causing systemic cancers. And they were told then to pay $4.7 billion in immunizations. Also, Gucci Renker, a hair product company, had to pay 26 million in lawsuits due to rashes and hair loss. It's also highly dependent in the legislation of the country. Depending on the concentration of the ingredient, it might not even be able or needed to be in the ingredient list. And to give you an example, for example, within European Union, where 1,300 chemicals are forbidden, into the US, only 11 are forbidden for the personal care industry. And it gets even more complex, since every single chemical can be written for more than 25 different ways. So imagine that you have a patient which you know is allergic to these 3 common allergens, and you give them the name. The patient then goes home, tries to look in the ingredient list, try to avoid any of these ingredients in their products. But what the patient might not know is that this can also be written by hundreds of different ways. It makes actually human impossible to be able to be sure that a single ingredient is not in the product that you are looking into. And let's not forget that the personal care industry is worth over $600 billion and exponentially growing, as we've heard during this conference. So it's a lot of money that we put into these products, which leads for us to accumulate a lot of packaging, perhaps way too much, and then leads to actually 5,000 tons, million tons of plastic that goes into the oceans every year. That's 15 plastic bags per meter into the coast of our Earth, also per year. And we heard again and again that one of the problems of the future is the microplastics for our health, but also for the environment, and these are being washed constantly into the rivers, lakes, and oceans. So how can any of us actually know what is the right product for all the different skin types from thousands and thousands of options out there? When I was thinking about this, my first idea was Vivino. You probably know the most worldwide app that actually just taking a photo of a wine gives you a lot of information and allows you to know if that's the wine that you're looking into. So why don't we have something very similar to all the packaging that we use to our skin? And just last Friday, we heard from John Ziebert that actually there are many apps already within dermatologists, something around 632, mostly developed for the patient or the consumer, a third of them for the experts of the providers, and really a very small percentage of 5% is having in mind both the patient but also the doctor. But about when I focus and look in terms of apps that could answer this question, Think Dirty, Good Face, INSCA, Beauty. What I didn't really find was an app that was independent from the pharmaceutical or cosmetic industry, that was scientific or evidence-based. So if I would have a magic wand, I would like to have an evidence-based free mobile app that could rapidly tell you if a specific product was the right one for your own unique skin. Based on short medical relevant questions, it would identify my skin type, giving me valuable information, and then just taking the photo of the barcode of any product, it would say if this is the right product for my own unique skin. We can use like a red, green, and orange barcode like many other apps already use, and here I see a lot of red. I can immediately assume this is not the product for me. I can also click into one of the ingredients, and then it will give me 4 information, like Think Dirty already does, in terms of also the synonyms, additional health concerns, and information. But we spend a lot of money in these products, right? I can go down there and just in shop, click, and know what's the average price of this product. This allows me actually to do a conscious decision of where and how I'm buying this product, hopefully allowing me to save some bucks and getting the best deal. Are there any advantages to the doctor? Well, actually, yes. The patient can just easily share with the physician the list of products that they use, instead of coming into the practice with these huge bags of products as they often do. And then the physician can just easily see if there are products of concern or some that should be avoided. And this can be also be very important for aesthetic medicine, where we are trying to give a daily skincare routine advice. But this is a dream. This was with a magic wand. But this is not really far from reality. There are apps going in that direction with some bias and some work to do, but it's feasible. We can just start with allergens, it's yes or no into the ingredient. We can then go to certain fields with acne that we know many ingredients are comedogenic or irritative, or even in pregnancy that we know that many of them should not be used or are there insufficient evidence. And with that, we would be hopeful to get happy, healthy patients, avoid buying unnecessary products, reducing waste, and avoid also toxic chemicals and microplastics into the environment. Thank you.
Great talk. Great talk. We have time for one question.
Yes, I was expecting it.
I really like your idea. It's super cool. I worked on a similar idea approximately 10 years ago, and I was, smashed into my face with one big problem, and that was the barcodes. So my advice is not to use the barcodes because the cosmetic industry is trying to change all these products twice a year almost. So I don't know why. I think the relaunch of products is something that the consumers, they like. Then they see something new on the shelf. It's just like changed a little bit. But I like your idea with Vivino.
Yeah.
So you can actually, you change your label also every year for wine. You could do the same, but it's still the same Vichy whatever that you're using, right?
Yeah.
So it's just an advice that I think, just lowering the bar and then maybe have the patients to upload the images and then they can gain some points or whatever.
Exactly. And that's how Vivino does very successfully. I think Dari also does it very successfully, that the consumer itself has a reward in order to add products to the database.
Super cool.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let us know when you make the app because we'll use it. So our last speaker is Dr. Neil Kumar, who is an alumni of our US program, the US Virtual Magic Wand that he participated 3 years ago. So he will be talking about companies that he started after graduating from the program.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here in this room with so many smart people. So I'm a dermatologist in Boston, and I also, before medical school, I did some other background in digital technology and startups. I got to be able to tell my dad, who's a doctor in college, I'm not going to medical school, and I instead went to after college, Atlanta, and I started a website design company. I managed over 20 contractors and learned a lot about website development, online marketing. Then I went to medical school and started my first company with my classmate. We did mobile medical services, sending nurse to your home if you're sick, doing IV or lab testing, and we're pretty successful there. We've grown to about 500,000 users to our website a month, and we're over 50 cities, including Paris now, over 30 million revenue there per year. We also branched out to doing home calls, house calls with doctors, NPs. We do mobile imaging, lab testing, sick visits in different countries. Also, we did a company doing detox rehab at home with nurses that stay with you for 7 days for medical detox. And lately, we're doing mobile cosmetics now, having practitioners come to your home. You can book online for mobile services. So the latest venture I'm working on is called Piction Health, which uses artificial intelligence to help diagnose skin rashes. Primarily, we're targeting primary care physicians. Essentially, the problem is 1 in 5 primary care visits does involve a skin disease. So you have about 2/3 of skin diseases managed by primary care doctors, with about half of the cases are misdiagnosed by primary care doctors, leading to a lot of cost burden to the healthcare system, delay in diagnosis, treatment, lower patient satisfaction. So Piction Health has developed an app to allow the primary care doctor in the moment at the visit, take a photo of the rash, answer a couple questions. You tap where the location is on the body, skin type and age, And in about less than 10 seconds, you get a list of the closest visually similar diseases based on the photo. The goal here is to improve the quality of care, save time in the moment for the primary care physician, and guide them towards taking care of the patient more accurately. Piction Health has the largest database of images in the world. We've partnered with over 200 dermatologists, 18 countries. We have over 500,000 images in our database, and we have over 1 million total under contract. This places us at a competitive advantage to other companies such as Google Health. We have much more images. They are focused on direct-to-consumer. We focus on utilizing the medical professional. Visual DX uses more of a question-based algorithm, not as much visual. And then we already talked about the delay in consults to a dermatologist. The average wait time in the US is 3 months. And so that would be the status quo as well. So our goal is to help support primary care physicians. In about 50 cases, the rash is misdiagnosed. So far, we've raised 3.8 million. We're finishing up our Series A. And the next steps, we are working right now on a major validation study with a major academic center. They have a whole department actually devoted to artificial intelligence and improving primary care. So we're very lucky to have them as our partner for this validation study. And our target is to contract with healthcare systems such as Kaiser, for example, that are big healthcare systems that can utilize and see the benefit of cost reduction and patient satisfaction and accuracy in diagnosis. Our goal by 2024 is 8 million ARR, and we would work with contracting the payer-provider organization. I'm currently serving the medical director of dermatology, and the co-founders are from MIT, from an incubator the company started, and then we have a whole team of machine learning experts as well, trying to teach me a lot about that. Thank you so much. I'll leave you with some photography of mine from the US, from New York City. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great talk. Any questions?
You declare that you have the biggest data set in the world. So it is interesting for me what's the number of images, what kind of classes, what's distribution between on Fitzpatrick scale. Yeah, so details about your data set.
Yeah, definitely. Probably with your company too, very challenging to get a variety, but we cover all skin types. We give images from, we've partnered with centers in Asia, India, South America to broaden the skin type, all Fitzpatrick types. I mean, majority are going to be skin type 1 through 4. So out of 500,000, maybe 2/3 are 1 through 4. In our possession, yes, and total of 1 million under contract. Yes.
Any other questions?
Can you tell us a bit more about the validations process that you are going to start? What are you going exactly to validate?
Yes, so internally we do 80% of the images are used to train, 10% are used to validate, and then 10% are used to test. That's for our internal. The validation study with the academic center would be in the clinic with physicians and real patients.
Can we download your app and try
Yes.
Test?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Just a question regarding the whole portfolio of your solutions. Super interesting, and congratulations with that.
Thank you.
What's your idea with your newest solution? Is that actually to reduce the number of home visits and actually, use that AI in, for instance, in the aesthetic field, so you don't need that much time together with the patient, or do you have any integration ideas
With the
with the AI algorithm when you get that up running? I mean, is the idea then to have you just like optimized your visit at home with your GP that actually goes to the patient's home, or
okay. Those are just separate companies.
okay, so no integration
overlap, yeah.
thoughts. Okay, it could be great to
maybe
integrate
one
it.
day, yeah, actually, yeah. If the doctor comes to your home and they have a rash, then they can use this app. Yeah, maybe it's a good idea.
And what about regulation process? Are you CE certified or FDA approved? FDA approval you have?
Yes, so our app currently, we display the top 3 most likely diagnoses in that order. As of now, you don't need any FDA approval for that. The goal will be to get to the top 1 diagnosis. That requires FDA approval and therefore validation studies and FDA application. So if you display only 1 diagnosis, then you need FDA approval.
So we made a research, so we also wanted to apply FDA approval. And if you say top 3 results, you also need FDA approval on 510K procedure.
We'll have to connect for sure, since we're doing very similar things.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Just a last question. Do you have any, completely different, do you have any insight for the reason why Google hasn't proceeded further with Derm Assist that they announced a year ago? It was supposed to be launched in Europe, not in the US, in Europe before the end of 2021. Do you have any idea why this project is standstill?
I'm not sure, but if I had to guess, they probably don't have enough dermatologists, and you know, the images they use are just from Google search, so they probably need to validate the diagnosis. And
okay, thanks.
I was just going to make a comment on that. I think the limiting factor is going to be the dermatologist, because in other countries, you know, like they get paid a lot more for their time for seeing the patient and doing procedure and billing for that. I mean, it might be different in Germany, I think, but in US, people prefer sort of the face-to-face because they could bill more.
I had a slightly different insight, but I don't know, it might be both or combined. I had the impression that the algorithm was weak in certain phototype. So, and they had a lot, actually, they had a lot of critics back in May and June last year because it was not broad enough in terms of phototype, but who knows? Okay.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I would also assume that they have the same challenges as everyone else with false positives and false negatives. So I think it's, if you do this kind of message direct to consumer, you have probably a liability concern. And I don't think Google would survive that. Another reason why they're launching in Europe, we're not as good as suing each other. So it's safe to launch it in Europe. Why not doing it in the US? My suggestions.
You are mean, huh? Okay, thanks, Neil.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was great. Okay, great. Thank you. Now this is time to conclude. So first, I would like to thank you, all of you, for being and to have traveled, because I know that some of you have traveled only for this presentation. So thank you for all the attending parties. Save the date for next year IMCAS Congress. That will be at the end of January. And actually, we already started together with Lilith and Merete. We have already started to prepare next year program. So we are working on it, and we'll have a similar session concerning clinician owned entrepreneurs and of tomorrow. I will like to give you the word, Lilith, because I think this is a great chance for you to talk about the Magic Wand project in Europe, and then I will come back.
Thank you so much, and I just want to thank everybody for coming and Dominic for doing all the work in organizing and putting the session together, and also my partner and collaborator, Dr. Mured Hatherstel, who co-chaired the European Virtual Magic Wand program with me, and our mutual mentor who inspired and empowered us to start this, Dr. Rox Anderson, who's not here today. So we want to let everybody know here that if you're a clinician and you're interested in entrepreneurship, you're interested in finding unmet need, learning the process of innovation, to please apply for our European Virtual Magic Wand program. We had our first scholars class this year, which will be finishing up in September. It's a 10-month virtual curriculum. We meet once a month for about an hour, and we talk about unmet needs in dermatology. We bring key opinion leaders to help you in identifying the need, articulating the need, making a specification sheet. What Christine and Tiago presented was basically the project that they ended up coming up with, the unmet need that they worked through. The applications could be found by just going to our website or just using this link here. Any dermatologist from within the Europe could apply and be part of this program. It opens in August, and the selections will be done by end of the year, and the program starts in January. It's just once a month, like I said, on Thursdays, usually about 5 to 6 p.m. And thank you.
Thank you, Lilith. So back to the Skin and Digital Summit. So when I created this venture a year ago, the vision of the Skin and Digital Summit is to create and facilitate a very comprehensive conversation about what digital technologies and AI advancement can bring to the skin business at large. When I mean skin business at large, this is dermatology, aesthetic, and skincare. Why skincare is important is because who is leading the innovation in that field? It is really the people from the skincare industry, and I hope that this movement will go further to the dermatology side. So on June 24, the third summit of the month of June will take place. It will be, I'm hosted by Advancing Innovation in Dermatology out of the US. So an hour prior their Dermatologic Innovation Forum, they have provided us an hour, so we will have a topic concerning access to dermatology care and technology by an awesome speaker and dermatologist out of Stanford, Roxana Daneshu. Then we'll talk about misinformation in dermatology. Dr. Gilles Lipov will handle this. And then we'll talk thanks to the participation of Alexander Zink from Munich in Germany, we'll talk about the smart bathroom, whether this is the future of skincare and dermatology. And then we'll have Joran Hart, which is having his own startups, and he will talk about us democratizing dermatology and skincare with AI. The objective of those summits is always to give the chance of startups to present their business. Also, one thing which is common in all the Skin and Digital Summit, I am obsessed by the issue of access to care and misinformation. So every time, one way or another, we try to have a topic, a subject which is going to address the issue of access, because we always heard today that there is more or less 2 billion people suffering from skin disease. What is important to know, and this is documented, 70% of those sufferers don't have access to doctors. So if we have 2 billion people suffering from skin disease on Earth, that means that 1.4 billion are not treated. And what is fantastic this afternoon is you are all into this direction. And I am also preparing the meeting that we will have at the end of the year. We'll talk about blockchain technology. I'm very also dedicated to address the issues of NFT within this context. We'll talk also about the metaverse. We'll have a review of sensors and AI advances for mainstream skin condition and skincare. Technology is not the solution for everything. So we have a big issue going further. This is digital divide, whether technology will be only for the happy few, in that case it is useless, or whether this will be for the mass and everyone, including poor countries, which is very important. We'd like also to talk a lot about teledermatology, e-commerce, social commerce. We know that this is the trend going further, but also e-pharmacy in that case. We'll talk also about misinformation in skincare and aesthetic, and we'll have also skincare startup corner. So if you're interested, go on the Skin and Digital website, register yourself, and you will receive all the information. I would like to thank my co-chair, Merete, thank you very much. Lilith, it was fantastic. Thank you.